A story going viral about Ilhan Omar with people saying, reports say she is a Qatari asset funneling information to Qatari officials being passed on to Iran. This proves it. Whoa. Slow down, everybody. There is a story right now that according to a sworn deposition, Ilhan Omar was acquired, bought and paid for by Qatari officials. This is coming from Al Arabia English, which was then picked up by the Jerusalem Post. And the original story asserts that they looked at the sworn deposition of a man named Alan Bender, who is a Kuwaiti-born Canadian businessman, who is saying he knows, based on what he was told, Ilhan Omar is a Qatari asset. Now, I got to stop here, man. There are a lot of people I see on the right that are tweeting this out. There's one viral tweet saying it's being reported that she is. Stop. Full stop, dude. This is diving so deep into hearsay. We got nothing. Okay, now I will say, there is Imam Tawhidi, probably pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize, who has been saying for months now that this is the case, presenting documents and things like that. But so far, the big bombshells haven't dropped. But he's been saying this is the case. And now we're getting information that kind of backs that up. But this is not enough, and y'all got to calm down. Make sure you do not fall for fake news. Let me say a couple things. For one, there are a lot of people who do not like America and will look for vulnerabilities. And Ilhan Omar certainly is, because there are so many people who don't trust her, because of her anti-Semitic statements, because of her contradictory votes in Congress. She is a weak link. And by subverting her, that gives them a way to hurt this country. It is also entirely possible that she absolutely is on payroll of Qatar or some other country. But you got to listen, man. Same thing I did with Russiagate, the same conversation we had. You gotta be careful with this stuff. Hearsay upon hearsay, stacked upon stack. She deserves the absolute same due process as Donald Trump would, and we gotta be careful about these smears. Because they want to talk about foreign interference in our election, but this kind of stuff is bad for us across the board. Now, if it's true she's doing wrong, and they're even accusing her of swearing allegiance to Erdogan of Turkey, if all that's true, fine. We should investigate. And I'll tell you what, here's how far I'm willing to go with this. I think you need way more evidence. It's hearsay stacked upon hearsay. But if you're going to use hearsay stacked upon hearsay for a 3-year investigation of Donald Trump with tens of millions of dollars, well, I think we better look into Ilhan Omar. We better look into Joe Biden. That's the game you all wanted to play. We got to play it. We do. We can't sit here and be like, oh, someone swore in court this is the case, and now we're just going to ignore it. Nah, sorry, you can't do that. But here's what I want to do. Let's look through this story. And there are some interesting tidbits here that I think are worth noting. But let's read through this, and let me just try and pull things back a little bit, because I know a lot of people are already running around saying she is a Qatari asset, she is a spy. So, again, someone tweeted that it is reported this is the case. No, it wasn't reported at all, okay? We're talking about Al Arabia English claiming that they saw the testimony of a man named Alan Bender, who was told by Qatari officials this was the case. We are so far removed from this. If you think the hearsay against Trump is absurd, this is on the same level. So let's look. Let's read through it, see what's going on. They say, from the Jerusalem Post, the Democratic congresswoman is said to have passed information to Qatar, which was subsequently handed along to Iran. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was recruited by a foreign government, received funding from a foreign government, and passed sensitive information through intermediaries to Iran, a Florida court has been told. The claims came during testimony by Kuwaiti-born Canadian businessman Alan Bender, who was giving sentence in the trial of Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Thani. The Qatari emir's brother stands accused of ordering his American bodyguard to murder 2 people and of holding an American citizen hostage. His deposition, obtained by Al Arabia English, was authenticated by the attorneys for the plaintiffs, according to the publication. So we got to stop here. The Jerusalem Post is citing Al Arabia English. Al Arabia English is claiming they saw the deposition of Alan Bender, who is saying he was told. So check this out. Speaking from Toronto by video link, Bender told the Florida District Court that he met with Qatar's secretary to the Emir for Security Affairs, Mohammed bin Ahmed bin Abdullah Al Masnad, and 2 other senior Qatari officials. According to his sworn deposition, the 3 officials told him, if it wasn't for our cash, Ilhan Omar would be just another black Somali refugee in America collecting welfare and serving tables on weekends. Bender testified that the officials asked him to recruit American politicians and journalists as Qatari assets, and that when he objected, was told that several prominent figures were already on the payroll. Omar was described as the jewel in the crown. Now, this man Bender if this testimony is true, then we absolutely need to look into what's going on with Qatar, and that's going to rope in Ilhan Omar. But let's just say, because 3 officials of a foreign country have made an accusation against an American politician, whether you like her or not, is not enough as far as I'm concerned. And we got to pull back on people are jumping on this. Now, I get it, man. There are a lot of people saying they want to do it to Trump based off the same evidence, then we play ball. I don't. I think what they're doing to Trump in impeachment is psychotic with I believe that this was the case, but no one ever told me. No, get out of here. I don't want to hear it. Do you have direct evidence or not? In this case, there seems to be potential circumstantial evidence that there's some wrongdoing on Qatar's part, but it doesn't necessarily prove anything about Ilhan Omar other than perhaps we should look into it. And you know what? That's what they're doing with Trump. So fine, so be it. They did. The thing is, Trump released the transcript of the call, so that's a lot of credit on his part. And according to the testimony in the impeachment trial, they all said basically that transcript was accurate. Okay, so we can move on, right? Well, if you want to launch this against Trump, we're going to do the same thing with Omar. But I got to admit, man, we are so far removed here. You really, really, really got to take this with a grain of salt. However, there is some really interesting information that raises some eyebrows. I'll say, check this out. They say Qatar recruited Ilhan Omar from even way before she thought about becoming a government official. They groomed her and arranged the foundation, the grounds, for her to get into politics way before she even showed interest. They convinced her. The deposition shows he further told the court during a 2017 meeting with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Omar swore allegiance to him. At the same time, she was a junior state representative in Minnesota. That can be easily fact-checked. And so I'll start looking into it later in the day. We'll figure it out. But keep in mind, there's a really interesting point here. You see, not too long ago, Ilhan Omar was the only Democrat to vote against sanctioning Turkey, which was very strange. 1 month ago, NBA's Enes Kanter calls out Ilhan Omar over Turkey sanctions vote. And here's what he said. This is an NBA star who said, he was asserting that Omar's actions made it seem like she was, quote, on dictator Erdogan's payroll and working for his interests, but not for the American people and the democracy. Now, here's where things get complicated. Are you a conspiracy theorist? That's the question I must ask. Are you a conspiracy? No, most people would say they're not, okay? Some people would say they were, fine. Pick one. You have 2 choices. Ilhan Omar is a Qatari asset, or Al Arabia English, in concert with Alan Bender and being propagated through the Jerusalem Post, are fabricating a fictitious narrative to smear and defame and take down Ilhan Omar just before the 2020 re-elections. Which conspiracy is it? Because I'll tell you what, check this out. They go on to add more about what the Qatari officials say, but Ilhan Omar's spokespeople said this. Since the day she was elected, Saudi Arabian trolls and mouthpieces have targeted Omar with misinformation and conspiracy theories. A spokesperson for the congresswoman wrote in a statement to the Jerusalem Post. The latest outlandish, absurd story from a Saudi-funded media outlet is of course false, and only the latest in that trend. The only people Omar represents in Washington are the people of Minnesota's 5th District. She will continue to speak out against human rights violations around the world, whether it's war crimes in Yemen or the caging of children at our border, regardless of who commits them, except when it's Turkey. You see, here's the thing. Ilhan Omar supports BDS, boycott, divest, sanction of Israel. But then when it comes to Turkey, she was the sole Democrat saying sanctions can be bad. That's really weird. Now, she's claiming Saudi-funded outlets are smearing her. They're trying to take her down. That's a conspiracy theory. So I don't know which conspiracy theory you should believe. I can stress it for the millionth time. The Jerusalem Post is citing Al Arabia English, which she claims is a Saudi-funded news outlet, who says they saw this deposition. Well, I'll tell you what, man. If the deposition is real, then it'll eventually come out if it's true or not. And you have these outlets claiming it's true. I kind of lean towards, I don't distrust. I mean, the Jerusalem Post is just citing Al Arabia English, so who knows? But you're going to have to pick a conspiracy theory now, because no matter what you do, you're a conspiracy theorist. Sorry, welcome to the new world. Either these news organizations are lying with Saudi Arabia is funding fake news to take down Ilhan Omar, which seems strange because she's anti-Israel and a lot of countries in the Middle East don't like Israel. But then the Jerusalem Post is backing up Al Arabia English, I guess, because Ilhan Omar is anti-Israel and they're the Jerusalem Post. That seems nuts. Okay, I don't know what to tell you, man. Because either you believe that she's an asset or you believe that there is a circuitous plan to defame her through various countries that typically don't agree with each other on a lot of issues. But, I mean, I get it. Saudi Arabia is an ally of the United States. Trump is giving them weapons, selling weapons, putting soldiers there. So naturally, they're probably going to be somewhat favorable to American interests, which includes Israel. I don't know, man. I am less inclined to believe the grand conspiracy of these government-funded media outlets trying to take down an American politician. But I don't know what to pick. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't know what to tell you. You know, if you come out and say, I agree with Ilhan Omar that Saudi-funded outlets are trying to smear her and take her down, you will be called a conspiracy theorist, because that's exactly what she's saying. There is a grand conspiracy among the Saudi government to work, to fund state media, to lie and smear. But I'll tell you what, man, can they make up a deposition? Is she implying that Alan Bender's testimony, assuming it is real, was fabricated by Saudi Arabia? What is this? What am I supposed to believe? Am I supposed to believe that Qatari officials have been funneling money to Ilhan Omar to prop her up as a politician? I don't know. It's all crazy. I will say, though, I guess skepticism is the best you can do. And really, at the end of the story, you can really just say, you know, I honestly don't know. The Jerusalem Post is not a Saudi Arabian outlet. It is an Israeli outlet, okay? It's Jerusalem. And they're backing, you know, they're reporting on this, but their reporting is based on a report which claims to have seen a deposition from a man who claims he talked to officials. So we are so far removed here. No conclusions can be made. And I think it's important to talk about this, for one, because too many people are saying it's a fact. Too many tweets are saying it's proven. Nah. Hold on, man. It's an important story to talk about. And I think we now have, you know, we're near the point where we need to have some kind of inquiry, I suppose. I don't know what to tell you, man. We should also have one into Biden, but hey, surprise, surprise, this won't get reported in mainstream American press. It's not going to. This is the Jerusalem Post. They're not going to come after Ilhan Omar. They know it. Let's read a little bit more and see what they're saying. Bender's testimony has been questioned, and reports, including this one by the Post, have led to speculation, especially on Twitter. Omar has already been found by the Minnesota Campaign Finance Board to have broken campaign finance rules, but it was a slap on the wrist by improperly using campaign money for out-of-state travel while she was a state representative. Conservative group Judicial Watch has also called on the House Ethics Committee to investigate Omar for alleged offenses, including immigration fraud. But these claims go much further. Omar was one of 107 House Democrats who co-signed a letter Thursday calling on Secretary Mike Pompeo to reverse his announcement on the legality of West Bank settlements. The signatories claimed such a move severely damaged prospects for peace in the region. There's bias across the board. There are people who want to harm America. That's a fact. And you got to be careful, man, because you might not like Ilhan Omar. You might just think her politics are awful. But as far as we know right now, and I know it's a big political, cultural battle, she is a legal U.S. citizen representing her district, and she was duly elected. If you have proof otherwise, present it, and we will go from there. We have conjecture, hearsay, circumstantial evidence so far from news reports that are hard to break down, that are hearsay upon hearsay, but I'll tell you what. Even if I do not like Ilhan Omar, I would take more offense to outside interests trying to subvert my country's politics, even for those I do not like. I think Ilhan Omar's got terrible politics. I think she's an all-around bad person, but you know what? She was elected, and unless someone can prove otherwise, I do not like these games. I do not like other countries coming out, this Canadian businessman, I know who he is, talking about Qatar and these other countries, not a fan. And that's foreign influence, but I will tell you what, just because it comes from a foreign outlet doesn't mean I will ignore it, okay? I want to know what's going on, because as far as I can tell right now, we have two potential problems. Foreign interests screwing with our government and our politics, making me very angry, or Ilhan Omar. Oh, actually, no. The only conclusion you come to is that foreign governments are screwing with our government, and I'm pissed off about it. Now, is it Ilhan Omar? Show me the proof. Is it Alan Bender, Saudi Arabia or Al Arabia? Show me the proof. But as far as I can tell right now, people be screwing with our politics, and I'm not happy about it. If it's Ilhan Omar, well then fine. Let's figure out what's going on. The things she's been accused of in the past have been minor campaign finance violations. Yes, you should call her out for that. Yes, they're bad things. And she got fined for it. It's not the end of the world. If she's doing things that are illegal, we must investigate, okay? Now I'll tell you what. The big problem in all of this is that everything's falling apart, man. Whether you want to admit it or not. The investigations, the impeachment, whatever, the nonstop scandals against Trump is the weaponization of process against the president for things they don't like. That's it. They don't like the guy. They want to get rid of him. They will find a reason. And the same is true for Ilhan Omar. Let's operate under the assumption that both Trump and Ilhan are innocent. Look how easy it is to subvert American democracy by just making claims. And for years, they've come after Trump without evidence. Let's say Ilhan Omar is innocent and you just don't like her politics. Well, so be it. That's America, okay? And we've got problems we've got to work out. But man, I am really worried about how easy it's becoming to screw with the whole system and how easy everyone will take the bait. The problem is, what if it's true, right? Now, I think it's absurd. The simple solution tends to be the correct one. In this instance, I can't find it. I'm sorry. You know, with Trump, the simple solution tends to be the correct one. Did Russians? No, get out of here, man. Trump ran on a populist campaign. It played well with people. Hillary Clinton was a bad candidate, and people voted for Trump. That's just a fact. With Ilhan Omar, she's trying to claim now that Saudi Arabia is funding fake news to harm her because she's going after Israel and protecting Turkey, man. I don't know, dude. Her story is way more complicated, but I will tell you what. There was a statement made. It was an interview with one of Vladimir Putin's key opponents who was jailed. And he said the greatest victory, I'm paraphrasing, I could be getting wrong, but I'll say it in my own words. The greatest accomplishment of Vladimir Putin is not meddling in our elections. It's that the perception was created, and now all he has to do is snap his fingers. All anyone has to do is snap their fingers, and everyone will jump. That's how bad things are getting in this country. That you can have Al Arabia say, this is true, and everyone on the right will start tweeting, saying, Ilhan Omar, it's a fact, it's a fact, it's a fact. Listen, man, I do not like Ilhan Omar professionally. I don't know her personally. I don't know. I guess personally with the divorce of her husband, I can say, yeah, I don't like that either. But listen, the last thing we need is foreign interference, legitimate foreign interference, to accuse people of things and run nonstop investigations. Take it to the voting booth. I don't know, man. But I'll tell you what. There's going to be a lot of people who say she's bad and she needs to be removed. And you have the same sentiment on the other side about Donald Trump. And in the end, all that's going to happen is that people, when they know they want to hurt us, are going to say, Dan Crenshaw? Yeah, he's a bad guy. Yeah, for that reason. And then everyone's going to go, here's my chance. The left took it against Trump, and I hope the right doesn't, but it seems like it's going to happen. They're taking it against Ilhan Omar. In the end, it's entirely possible that Ilhan Omar has done wrong. Because I'll point out, whether or not she actually swore allegiance to Erdogan, she's the only Democrat who opposed sanctions. That's so weird. That's seriously weird. But you're going to need some hard evidence. You're going to need some hard evidence, and we'll see. I'll end with one final thought. Check out Imam of Peace on Twitter. Imam Tahiti. By the time you're watching this, you're probably watching this way later. He says, I will be coming out live in 1 hour. I'm not a journalist. I am directly involved in the Ilhan Qatar scandal as a victim of Qatar's plots and malicious lawsuits, and my name is mentioned all over the federal U.S. legal deposition. Turn your notifications on and retweet. This guy's got a lot of fans. I'm not going to speak for or against anything he's saying. I'm just going to let you know that he's saying that I'm recording this before he's come out. By the time you watch this, he has tweeted, he has posted. See what he has to say, and if evidence emerges, then we should definitely go after it. Because let's be real. The Democrats have said that Donald Trump is a Russian asset or whatever, and if that's the case, we need to know about it, right? Sure, but that was outlandish. And we did the investigations in good faith, and we found, no, it's not the case. Trump was a legitimate president. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. If the new standard is such, then we need to look into Ilhan Omar. That's the standard they've created, and we've got to be very careful about people weaponizing this against us. But you know what, honestly, man? I will end with this. I don't know the solution. If Ilhan Omar is acting as a foreign agent to subvert our government, that is horrifying. And if it's true that foreign agents are trying to subvert our government by smearing Ilhan Omar, that is equally horrifying. And if we launch an investigation every single time someone makes the claim, that is also horrifying. So I don't know what to tell you, man, but I will say we are vulnerable. We are being manipulated, at least whichever side is true. People are screwing with us, and it's making me angry. It should make you angry too. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Maybe an update if we get some evidence, and I will see you all then.